Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, so it's England and Scotland. They had a soccer match yesterday. I believe the Euro 2020 was delayed, so they're having the matches now because in 2020 we obviously had Rona to deal with. So I believe it was postponed, but don't quote me on that. But that's what I believe it was, because they had this match, the Euro 2020 match, yesterday, and the competition seems to be starting now. So England had a match with Scotland, and both England and Scottish players, both of them, all of them, took the knee to Black Lives Matter, even the referee, at the start of the match. Abhorrent. They got booed for it, and we've got this clip to watch, and then we've got two more, which is the talking heads trying to justify what they did, right? They don't understand why they get booed. They just point the finger at the fans and say, you're racist, you're this, you're that. What they don't realise is, it is them taking the knee to literal racists. Why don't you take the knee to ISIS, right? Black Lives Matter have ruined countless lives. Look what they did to people's homes and businesses in places like Minneapolis, Kenosha, Portland, Seattle, Los Angeles, New York City, even in London. Look what they did when they visited. It was either Southampton or Plymouth or Portsmouth, one of the big cities in England at the south. I'm sure you remember when they pulled that statue down and replaced it without anyone's permission with a BLM statue. A statue of a Black Lives Matter activist giving the Black Power hand salute. That's no different than a group of Nazis pulling down a statue and putting one up doing the Sieg Heil sign. How is it any different? What gives you the right to do that? What gives you the right to do what you do? And then we have the soccer players, the politicians, the big businesses, even the royals, the members of the royal family taking a knee to an organisation that does that. People who do that. That's the reason why you get booed. Anyway, look, let's get into these clips. We've got a couple to watch. If you haven't yet though, please like this video if you find it informative, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and share this video around social media, normies, friends and family, someone you think might need to see this. We are shadow banned, demonetized and reduced. We are conservative commentators, and as such we are not welcome on this amazing platform. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the first clip is like 8 seconds long. I'll replay it a couple of times. You can hear the boos in the background. It's just the both teams taking the knee, disrespecting everyone. Remember what Black Lives Matter did to the statues in Britain, even our war memorials dedicated to people who fought against tyranny, not once but twice, just in the last century alone, and they got desecrated by the people this lot are taking the knee to, and they still don't understand why the fans up there are booing them. So I think the majority of the boos are coming from the England fans, and the majority of the some of the cheers, the majority of the small cheering you can hear would come from the Scottish fans. Scotland's a strange place. They're at the stage where they're in love with the idea of progressive, woke multiculturalism. This is the stage that England was in when I was a teenager, like early 2000s. We thought we can make it work, just like every other country that's ever tried it and failed, from this country in this time, going right back to the Roman Empire. Every country that tried it has failed because people are different and want different things, believe different things, and have, in many cases, sectarian gripes that go back a very long time. So they've both taken the knee. in solidarity with what? I don't know. In solidarity with pulling statues down, in solidarity with people who want to destroy the nuclear family, in solidarity with trained Marxists, in solidarity with a group that burnt people's houses and small businesses down to the ground in many cities, in solidarity with people who think that people like me, who are exercising my right to free speech, should be jailed, but people who commit violent crimes should be let out of prison. That's the people you're taking a knee in solidarity with. So let's move on now to the next clips, which are them trying to justify what they've done. Okay, so next we're going to listen to what James McFadden has to say from who knows where in Scotland somewhere. He's going to give you his 2 pence on why he thinks taking the knee, bending the knee to Marxists is a good idea. We'll watch it, and then after that we'll go back and watch it again, and I will stop it and give my opinions at certain points that I think I need to make.
We're going to make a stand against racism at home, and I think it's important that it's in sync with England for the game at Wembley, because we know that England are taking the knee, and I don't think it would have looked that great if Scotland had stood whilst England were kneeling. So I think it's shown that solidarity and that partnership in terms of the message, and then the fact that they've put the statement out allows us to concentrate on the football, and that issue is put to the side at the minute. I'm sure it will rear its head again, but I think it's important to put that message out, to allow everyone to know where we stand on it, where Scotland stand on it, and we back them 100%.
Yeah, Steve Clarke didn't hold back in his statement. Do you think he seemed to be a bit annoyed because Scotland did make that stance, along with Scottish football, the clubs like Rangers and Celtic did after the Kudela Kamara situation? They wanted to take a stance, and that was their way of getting the message across. Do you think it's difficult because different countries are doing different things?
Yeah, I think that Scotland made the decision to take a stand, and they've stuck by that. But then we're getting.
Sorry to interrupt at this moment, but he keeps using the word "make a stand." He keeps using the word "stand" when he's literally making the case for him and his to bend the knee. Yet he keeps using the word stand.
Yeah, a big tournament, and England have been clear they will remain taking the knee. There's been a lot of discussion, there's been a fallout throughout that as well. So I think it's important that Scotland have made their position clear, and now Steve Clarke can concentrate on getting his squad prepared, because the message has been clear from Scotland, from March, from those qualifiers. And now it's a case of taking a stand, or taking the knee obviously with England at that point, but being clear on the message, and now looking forward to try and prepare his team for the tournament.
Your tournament is second fiddle to you taking the knee. Okay, these people, they must lack self-awareness, because they don't realise how stupid and weak and gullible they appear to the average person. The average person who buys the tickets, who watches the game and pays your ludicrously high salaries. They're all booing, and you're the one cheering and taking a knee. Why do you think that is? Do you think they know something you don't? I think so. Anyway, look, let's go back again. We'll watch again, and I'll stop it intermittently to make the points I think I need to make.
And I think it's important that it's in sync with England for the game at Wembley, because we know that England are taking the knee, and I don't think it would have looked that great if Scotland had stood whilst England were kneeling. So I think it should.
It would have looked great. It would have looked far better, as a matter of fact. You would have been doing yourself a favour. So what you're saying is, you saw that England were voluntarily jumping on to a sinking ship, and you thought it wouldn't be seemly if you too did not jump onto the sinking ship. So you jumped willingly onto a sinking ship.
Showing that solidarity and that partnership in terms of the message, and then the fact that they've put the statement out allows us to concentrate on the football, and that issue is put to the side at the minute. I'm sure it will rear its head again, but I think it was
Well, of course it will, because the people that demand you take a knee. Did you think you could just take a knee once and that would be it? Is that what you thought? You thought you could just take the knee and then these people who pull down statues, burn people's homes down, destroy people's businesses, the trained Marxists, by their own admission, the corrupt Marxists who use the money you get your fans to donate to them, and they spend it on 4 luxury houses. I'm sure you know who we're talking about. The people who are above the law because they shout the loudest and because they burn things down. People are scared to even speak out against them, right? It's abhorrent, really it is. These are the people, this is the message you're siding with. I hope you realise that. And as I said, you think that you can just take the knee once and that's it. You think they're going to leave you alone. Now you've took the knee once, you will be required to do it again and again and again. To take the knee, to bend the knee, is a symbol. It has symbolic value. It means surrender. It means to pay homage. It means to acknowledge the authority of the person you are kneeling to.
Important to put that message out, to allow everyone to know where we stand on it, where Scotland stand on it, and we back them 100%.
Yeah, Steve Clarke didn't hold back in his statement. Do you think he seemed to be a bit annoyed because Scotland did make that stance, along with Scottish football? The clubs like Rangers and Celtic did after the Kudela Kamara situation. They wanted to take a stance, and that was their way of getting the message across. Do you think it's difficult because different countries are doing different things?
Yeah, I think that Scotland made the decision to take a stand, and
but you didn't take a stand. You took a knee. You didn't take any stand. You literally took a knee. You haven't took any stance or stand or anything. You are bowing to a group of people who tell you what to think. They own you now. They take a stand. Love them or hate them. BLM, they take a stand. You take a knee.
They've stuck by that. But then, we're getting into a big tournament, and England have been clear they will remain taking the knee. There's been a lot of discussion. There's been a thought.
Because they don't have a choice. This is what I'm saying. England have made it clear that they're going to continue taking the knee. They can't stop now. You understand that once you start, you can't stop. Because if you take a knee 1,000 times, on the 1,001st game, you refuse to take a knee, they will jump on you from a great height. They won't give a gnat's dick that you took a knee 1,000 times, that you bent the knee to them. All of those times. Listen, it won't matter a jot. All that would matter is that on the 1,001st time, you refused to take a knee. You decided to stand up instead of taking a knee. They would see that as you challenging them. They would see it as a slight. BLM would see it as, well, what are you doing? Don't you stand up. You take a knee. We stand up. That's the way they would see it. So of course England have to continue taking the knee. They can't stand up. They can't get on their feet now.
All out throughout that as well. So I think it's important that Scotland have made their position clear, and now Steve Clarke can concentrate on getting his squad prepared, because the message has been clear from Scotland from March, from those qualifiers, and now it's a case of taking a stand.
He keeps saying he's taking a stand, but he's not. I think he's trying to convince himself that he's taking a stand. How can you say you're taking a stand when you're taking a knee?
The knee, obviously, with England at that point. But
see, look. So he's admitted it here, right? I think that thing in the back of his head that's making him realise he's being a bit of an idiot. I think that's getting to him. So listen again.
From those qualifiers, and now it's a case of, you know, taking a stand, or taking the knee obviously with England at that point, but being clear on the message, and now looking forward to try and prepare his team for the tournament.
Oh, the message is out. Don't worry. The message is loud and clear. You are subservient to a Marxist organisation that destroys things to get its own way. You've made that very clear. I just hope you realise that you're sold now. You can't stand up. You know, you obviously keep waxing lyrical about making a stand. You won't be making a stand anymore. You won't be forgiven if you ever decide to stop taking the knee. You will be destroyed by the woke Twitterati you seem so clear to appease. Okay, let's move on to the next. So this is Rangers player. Rangers is a Scottish soccer team for my American viewers. Rangers player Glenn Kamara's lawyer, Amar Anwar. So we know he's immediately going to be pro Scottish people, born and bred, bending the knee. You know he's going to be all for that. So let's hear what he has to say in regards to the Euro 2020. Again, I think the tournament was cancelled last year because of Rona, so they're having it now. But this is his take on Scotland bending the knee to BLM and England bending the knee at the game the other day.
Those at Scottish Football Association this morning, and they advised that the decision not to take the knee was taken some time ago, and I accept their explanation that this was as a result of football not doing enough. In the context of the racist abuse of my client Glenn Kamara, it was a signal by many in Scottish football to the authorities such as UEFA that they needed to do much more than engage in tokenistic gestures against racism. However, as I stated publicly in the last...
What, and bending the knee isn't tokenism? So you willfully want people to surrender. Because bending the knee is a symbol, it has symbolic weight. When you bend the knee, you admit subservience to whoever it is you're bending the knee. So you have a choice. Either bending the knee is subservient, full on, I swear fealty to you, O great Lord, or it's tokenism. One or the other. So you need to decide what you think bending the knee is.
24 hours, what counts as solidarity in the fight against racism, which should transcend football rivalries, even the oldest one between England and Scotland. The optics of watching the racists and far right cheering on the Scotland team for standing as they abused the England team for taking the knee would have been deeply shameful for our nation as well as...
So here he's saying that the far right, so all of the fans are far right. If you disagree with BLM burning down homes, buildings, being corrupt with the money that is poured into their coffers, for them buying 4 houses in predominantly white neighbourhoods, you're far right. I'm right wing, and I'm proud to admit that. But let me tell you something. I have never seen any of these mystical far right loonies. I've never seen any. I've never met one. And I'm right wing myself. But I've never met one of these mystical far right people. But I have seen and met plenty radical leftists. They're all over the place. They're even in government. They've infiltrated everything, right? Especially the public sector. And now public sector's theirs, they're going after the private sector. That's why you have Coca-Cola and all of these big organisations bending the knee. Okay? This guy, I would deeply question he just used the phrase our country. I would deeply question his committal to our country. I would question that. If you seem to think that the only way that we can combat these mystical far-right people is for everybody to take the knee to you and your friends in BLM, not shake your hand, not talk to you, to bend the knee
Euros. So the decision by the Scotland national team to unite in solidarity against the racists who've attacked a young black and white England team is the right one, and one we can all be proud of.
So this is another thing. I'm going to end his here because he's talking out of his rear end and I can't take much more of it. But the only racist here is this guy. Clearly. So he's saying that English and Scottish fans who express themselves by booing, if you have the right to express yourself by taking the knee, I have the right to express myself by booing if I want to. So you're saying that by people booing, by people opening their mouth and making a deep boo sound, that's attacking someone. That's violence towards them. How? You want everything your own way. You want people to take the knee to you and your friends, and you want to gloat about it, but then you want us to cheer for them. You want us to bend the knee to you and then thank you for giving us this amazing opportunity to bend the knee to you. That's what you want, and it will never be enough. It will never be enough. And you pull out the same tired excuses about these far-right ghosts. That's all they are, ghosts. I've never met one. I'm conservative. I've never met one of these people. All of the right-wing people I've met have sound arguments. Okay? They are largely respectful. And they oppose tyranny. And what do tyrants expect of people? They expect them to bend the knee. It's like you don't think people have eyes and ears. It's like you don't think people have a memory. We saw what they did. The organisation you want us to bend the knee to, we saw what they did. We saw them pulling down the statues, spray painting over and spitting on the Churchill statue. He's our national hero. Do you think that endears you to us when you do that? And your response? Well, it's only a statue. That's what you said. Only a statue. Well, then we can say it's only taking a knee. Works both ways, doesn't it? But anyway, I suppose I'm talking to a brick wall here. Anyway, look, if you found this video informative, by all means subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, share this video around. That's important. We are shadow banned, demonetized and reduced. We are conservative commentators, and as such we don't get recommended. So if you could do that, that would be a help to me, a boon to us. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.